Boom, boom. What's going on, guys? We had to improvise. You guys have been almost a whole week without music. So I couldn't let you stay a whole week without music. I had to give you something here to end the week. Look, I can be kind of goofy again because I have a co-host with me this time. Welcome back, Matt Monaco.
Thank you, live audience.
Woo!
Thank you. It's how many days did I miss? So it was 2, 1.
No, more than that, dude.
No way. I joined you on Tuesday or something.
No, Roland joined us on Tuesday.
I joined you maybe I only joined you Monday this week. I don't know, but we're back in action. We got a lot to talk about today. I had a really good trade. Honestly, I'm going to break it down pretty detailed for everyone watching this as a Friday treat. Made a ton of mistakes and still made a ton of money. That's going to be the lesson today. You don't need to be perfect to make money in this game. And you can always just be improving. So I'm going to take a lot of notes from my personal trade on this and how I can improve it just going into next week and going forward. And yeah, I think we should just get right into it unless you got something goofy to add again, Tui.
No. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. I was Matt's trading accountability buddy through this. And I said, Matt, you better lock some of this in. Be smart. Don't be a dumbass. Literally at the top.
He did do that. So here's the trade, BYSI. I think you did it on the spike. So I actually basically top ticked that spike because you texted me and you were like, don't be an idiot, lock some in.
and here are the words he texted me. You ready for this? 40 or broke. He's going for 40 or going broke.
Which I didn't do. I was just messing around.
I'm glad.
But I'm glad I moved my I had some good lock-ins here because of Bryce. And then I moved my risk up and actually sold some here, and then I actually stopped out the rest here. All things considered, for getting quote unquote stopped out of a trade, I still made a lot of money on it. And then I had this whole morning debacle as well, which we'll break down. Basically, I'm just gonna look at a five-day chart of this. We can actually probably get rid of after hours. It's going to show you a totally different chart.
And I think it's going to be really fun going over this trade because you and I both had different morning debacles and still ended up doing well.
Right, totally.
Because there is no one right way to do this, and regardless, there's no two right ways either because we both screwed it up.
Absolutely, no, I agree, man. And yeah, I mean, this is a totally different chart when you take out after hours. If you show extended hours in here, you'll see this massive spike you got on the news of 44.
Whenever, and this is if we're doing Friday nuggets, might as well bring in talk about what I do too. When I have a really, really good watch that I want to keep track of, like a really, really strong potential, I almost always take out after hours for that trade. And I'll have a chart next to it that's also regular, pre-market extended hours. But a lot of times when you take that extended hours off again really quick, it is crazy. Just like look at that. That looks much better, much cleaner.
Right.
Than, so do both and see I'm not saying just randomly buy one because the stock works. It's oh, well, doesn't matter. Pre-market and after hours does matter, but you can see the big difference this makes. I think I'm a big fan of it.
Right. I agree. Yeah. So this one, if you remember, it would have been Wednesday, gapped up huge on some news. A lot of shorts are in this. If you are involved on Twitter at all, or just really engaged in the trading community, because there's a potential of an offering here. I didn't see any news about it, and based on the price action, I don't think any offering was dropped. So you have this factor of all the short sellers being sucked in on this. And then you also have the factor of something we talk about all the time, the 3rd day surge, this being the 3rd day after it held up. And then you also add today is Friday. So you have this Friday short squeeze potential. There's all these factors that were adding to this trade that I was looking at this morning. So when this gapped up, I was looking, I actually bought some pretty much right out the gate and then bought some on the dips too, more or less risking red green. My risk being pretty wide out of the gate because I thought on a squeeze, still kind of do. It's not working out as much as I thought. We'll see what happens after hours. I'm out of the trade. It doesn't really matter at this point. But I was thinking, this gets over 30. I drew the line on 30 on how it's such a key level. We could see 40 very quickly on a squeeze with the number of shorts in it. They don't want to hold over the weekend. So
I believe the float's only 10 million too.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's pull it up. Yep. Basically 11, but yeah. So low float Friday squeeze textbook, mix in, a 3rd day surge potential / maybe even a breakout. There's a lot of things going for it. So this morning I bought a ton of shares, risking just red green. Only locked in like, I don't even know, a tenth, basically a tenth of my shares. I had 5,000 shares out of the gate, locked in like a tenth right around 27.50, rode it all the way back down. And I was risking at this point the opening low. And I was just pissed because I gave back roughly $20,000 in unrealized profit. So I cut my loss before my risk. And then about 10, 15 minutes later, I was like, you're an idiot. Like it's still holding the risk level. The trend changed. So I bought it back in again here. At this point, still risking on this new trade. I think on the first trade initially, I locked in a couple $100. Not great, but it wasn't a loser trade by any means. So then I re-entered, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put a stop on lows, see what happens, because I still like see the overall thesis of this trade. And so I let it grind up, and then once we got back to VWAP here, VWAP's a pretty big test on these, and so I added some more there. It then ramped up to high a day. That's where Bryce texted me. I locked about, I don't know, a fifth of my shares in. I had like 8,000 shares at this point. Locked in roughly 2,000 up here. And then actually there was this little flag if we go look at like even a 1 minute chart. And I was like, oh, this is the time, because I knew 30 was the level. You can see I drew the line there. There was this little flag, and I added over this break here because I was like, we're going to break over this little flag, go to 30, squeeze over 30, and that's when we're going to go to 40. Ultimately didn't happen, so added here. Apologize to everyone if they hear crinkles. My dog is chewing on a toy over here. She's cute.
Hey, you said she was locked out. You liar.
She's cute though.
She is cute. Bring her on. Bring a special guest on to Small Cap Recap.
Oh, we'll bring her on. Come here.
Yeah, she's adorable. She's my favorite. I'm Uncle Steve.
Here we go. This is Ella.
Wow, this is the first introduction.
You can see the flag broke to high a day, and then it ultimately was pretty stuffy. And I sold that ad for break even. And then I got stopped out under 28 when this low broke, because to me, that was a sign the trend was changing. It wasn't working, right? So the important thing, like on this trade, all things considered, I made a ton of mistakes. Ultimately, I got stopped out at my new risk level. And by the end of the day, I still locked in, shoot, let's pull it up actually. I think like roughly 25,000 or so. Let me share my other screen. This is my trader view. Oh, that's my E-Trade actually.
No, your trader view's on.
Oh, I must have shared a different window. So here's my trader view.
Everyone get his account details.
$26,855. But if you look at my running P&L, like
you were up $40,000
at the peak on this trade, I was up 40,000, and that's including like the ones I didn't lock in, because I was up 20,000 this morning, locked it in for like a couple hundred, grinded it all the way back up. At the peak, I was up over 40,000. And we ended up locking in 26,000 on a stop out, which is fine, is what it is. But this was a big trade that definitely got away from me. And there's a lot of notes and a lot of things you guys can learn from this one. Bryce, what are your comments here?
Well, you know what? I can't say a whole lot. I'm actually going to share my screen in just a second here. So I traded the same stock, but in a different way. Can you share the BYSI screen again? Like not your trader view, but your the stocks trade. And is this 1 minute? Perfect.
1 minute of today, yeah.
Zoom right into the open. First like 30 minutes or so. Okay, so here was my biggest issue, right? We had this dip out of the first minute, gap up, dip down to a little over 23, and instant recover. It seemed like a dip and rip. It's a gap up. The only thing I didn't like is that it opened up under VWAP, but it was okay. I longed 4,000 shares at $24 as we broke over that, really quick high a day, instantly up to 25. And as soon as it got there, something just felt off. It was super stuffy, a really harsh pullback. And I was like, this is going to stop me out. My risk is on low a day. Matt, don't look at that candle yet. My stop was 23.10. I actually wanted to give it a couple cents under low of day, just in case it trapped. What is the low of that candle?
This one is 23.10.
Yep, I was the bottom tick. I could have done 23.09 and still been in that trade. I could have done. That hurts me. But you know what?
That's tough. That's tough, man.
Yep, that sucks. So I lost $4,000 out of the gates. I was okay with it. It was a really good setup. And then basically as soon as I saw that retest right there, and it was a trend break, if you want to go like that, not there, from the $25 high right down to there,
Yep.
really easy trend break. I bought,
Everyone.
Yep. That was, I love that. I bought 7,000 shares at 23.70. Yeah, right up through there. I wanted to like also give it a tiny bit of room to make sure it was even going to test that like last little mini micro trend right under VWAP. And risk was on 23. I was probably risking another $4,000 or $5,000, whatever that was. Sold into the first high day push, a decent amount, had 4,000 left, wrote it up to the 27s. And then my best sell, or 26.70s. And then my best sell, 27.90. Nice. And cut the remaining. I think I had 500 shares left, cut it under that support break as we came down. Locked in about $15,000 on that trade, which was really nice. My issue then though, so I started off with that $4,000 loss, made 15,000. I was up like $10,800. And then I lost $4,000 on this backside trying to buy the bounce.
Oh,
yeah, I do that all the time.
My B, here we go.
Trying to buy this bounce, I lost another $4,000. So basically I went from up $11,000 to up like 3,800 because I took a couple other little paper cuts on things like Neuro, FTCV, and NCTY. And it was just like, man, that sucks. Thankfully, it offered some really good opportunities at the end of the day with that. You know, I was actually at lunch when this afternoon move started, but I just marketed in 1,000 shares at like 24.80, right around 12.30, 12.45, right in there. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just marketed some in, put a stop on 24, I think it was, after that last low that it set, and let it ride, made like $2,000 on that, ending the day up $8,500. Can't complain. I closed the swing, which is where the other money comes from, because basically all my money was made on BYSI and a tiny bit on ASTR, but yeah, the wild ride of a day. And as you can see, you know, Matt and I both messed up. Matt didn't lock in any profits on the way up, and I traded the backside after the way up. And it's like, you know, there's many mistakes we made, and we both still have. I mean, Matt, you're up what, $30,000 this week?
$30,000 this week, yeah.
Yeah, Matt and I together did like almost $65,000 in August. This has not been a hot market by any means. Like, this is slower than July's been.
For sure. No, it totally has. And yeah, like I just want to reemphasize, like all things considered, like my trading wasn't that good because I was greedy today, and I still made some good money, but like ignored the money. Like there's that initial plan I didn't follow through, which I then fixed because I re-entered and adjusted my risk accordingly. But I was really greedy because that initial morning spike, I was up a ton of money and just didn't lock any in. And like in a different market, that probably would have worked incredible. And the kind of mindset I was still in, but we got that really weird controlled walk down basically all the way back to low a day. Like you got to remember we're in August. So you got to keep that in perspective. You got to keep the overall market conditions in perspective and then adjust accordingly. Like the market will change and like those runners will run a lot more. And then you don't have to be, I guess, as protective in like what would be considered a hot market, but that hot market isn't right now. So you got to be quicker to lock in those gains, which I failed to do today.
Yeah. And my biggest thing that I'm going to be working on after this week is definitely I didn't do a whole lot of over trading this week because I've been really trying to focus on time with family and stuff, but I came back and lost a lot of money on Hood that one day. And I still remember that. I remember that yesterday, which is why I just stopped, locked in my money. And it's why I'm not trading anything right now. I could have lost more money here on BYSI trying to buy this backside dip. And I didn't, because I remembered how bad Hood sucked. I was like, that, don't get me wrong, it was a setup I'd want to take, but I did a small cap rockets strategy session. And I looked and it actually hadn't broke trend yet. I preemptively bought a lot of shares. Yeah. And it's just, that's not something I don't want to have to go through. Like, I don't care. I know it's user error, but like, I don't want to make those user errors when, let's be real, man, $8,000 to $20,000 in a day in the summer is amazing. And we don't need to be giving it away.
Amazing. Yeah. We've come a long way in the last year, Mr. Tui. So.
I know we have.
Well, guys, that's it for this Friday's small cap recap.
TGIF, baby.
I do have one comment because I can foresee the questions about putting a stop loss in, and I meant to say it. BYSI is a good example of a stock I would put a stop loss in because the volume's there You're not just going to get like, basically in my personal opinion, like OTCs
stops.
Yeah, OTCs don't put a stop in. Like they're not liquid enough, they're not trading enough volume. You will get stopped out. And if you do get stopped, you're gonna get filled at the exact bottom every single time because they're gonna take advantage of you. Something like BYSI, even if you've got a couple thousand shares, like you're a small player in that stock because there's big funds involved and stuff, and they're not looking for you. So you can trust a stop on a play like that, in my opinion.
Yep, 100% agreed.
Last nugget for this Friday. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new, like, subscribe, watch our old ones. Yeah, they're old trades, but they're full of golden nuggets too. So that's what I would do if I was a viewer still struggling.
And comment down below what was your best trade of the week. You know, I know the market was slow, but let's hear your guys' best trades, because I think BYSI was my best trade this week.
I love it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Peace.